This video is brought to you by TS4U IT Engineering Bootcamp.
All right, Inshira, thank you for your time. Congratulations again. You have made it. All credit goes to you. TS4U has nothing, no credit. We do not take any credit from any of our students. So congratulations. Thank you very much. Before we continue, why not you just introduce yourself and tell your background yourself?
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored to receive this platform to share my journey today with all my peers here. And thank you so much. You are actually talking me up. I am nothing without the TS4U facilitators and the mentors and teachers, and of course you. It's all a collective effort. It's not just me, but thank you for your kind words. And just to introduce myself again, I'm Inshira. I have been a part of TS4U's family for a long while, and it has been an up and down journey for me. But I'm really happy to come on here and share my experience with everyone. Long time back, Nelson Mandela mentioned that do not judge me by my successes, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up. And it represents a Japanese proverb that says, fall down 7 times, get up 8. It's not just limited to 7 times. It just means no matter how many times you fall down, the next time try to get up. And that's how my journey has been too. It's not been smooth sailing. It's not been a point A to B journey. And success and achievement is destined for everyone in perfect timing. But the key to this is just to remember that with hard work and effort, and of course, a great deal of patience and commitment, it can be achieved. So as I share my journey, you will notice that too. And I'm just happy to be here and start with that. So I started with TS4U a year or two back. I was still in college. As Sir mentioned, and as my father also discussed, my father discovered Shibu Sir on TV randomly, and my dad recognized him. Then my dad reached out and learned about his program, and he encouraged me to explore it. I had no idea that a thing called DevOps even existed. I did not know what that meant. When I did not know such a thing existed, when I was described to what it means, it sounded very difficult to me. But I was encouraged to give it a shot and pursue this, with one condition being that I have to be committed and I have to be hungry. In the beginning, it might sound like just words, but once you start this journey, you realize that there isn't any other advice you need but that. All it really does take is to be hungry and to stay committed, which is something I not understood right away. I won't say I'm a bad kid. I don't disobey. I follow the rules, but nothing really stuck with me. I struggled. I faltered in my commitment. I did not display any hunger because I didn't possess the hunger. And in the beginning, no matter how many workshops I attended, no matter how many modules were given to me, no matter how much practice time I received, it was pointless because I was not as committed, I was not as consistent, and I was simply not hungry. Yes, it's true, I was also in college and busy, I had a family life, but the thing with such journeys is that there will always be a reason not to do something. It really takes your own strong will and decision to decide that you have to do something. And, in the beginning, I was not really performing. I was not making any meaningful progress. I was not really achieving much until you think you can escape Mr. Shiblu's eyes, but you can't. No matter who you are, how quiet you think you seem, he is the kind of principal who keeps tabs on every one of his students, and that is a good thing. You should always take that gracefully. It's not a bad thing that he keeps tabs on everyone, that he is strict with you, that he is aware of what you're doing. You're lucky that you have someone, that I had someone who is that attentive to every student's needs and who is also uniquely able to identify where each student is struggling or where each student needs to improve, or also acknowledge where each student is has a strength in. So he confronted me and he said, I just see you emptily attending workshops. I see you're on time. Yes, you're participating, but you're not making any meaningful progress. What are you going to do about that? It felt very confronting to me. I didn't think he was noticing. I was struggling with motivation a little bit because it just felt like such a new concept to me. I could not really grasp it. I think also because I was young, I did not understand that to achieve a meaningful career, it really is such an intricate process. Nothing is achieved overnight. But he pushed me, he reminded me, and I had my excuses that, oh, I'm busy, oh, I have school, oh, I'm struggling. But he said, okay, you can have all your excuses, but it's ultimately up to you. And he gave me another chance. I started pretty strong the second chance, but very soon I faltered again. I started getting weak again. I had somewhat of a strong start. I think after a while I got complacent again. School got busy again. Suddenly I had those same excuses. And what Shibusar told me earlier no longer had that impact on me. A few days later, same thing. Of course, you can't escape his eyes, which is again a great thing, because if he never spotted, then I wouldn't be here today. He noticed me again, he confronted me again. This time he was more firm and he said, I already gave you a chance and I was being generous with that. You have to get serious or it's not going to work. This time, um, I don't know what kind of reality hit me. I decided that I have to take action because at this point it was getting embarrassing that with this much opportunity, I was not making the most out of it. This time I chose to stand back around. My initial challenges were motivation. My initial challenges were procrastination. My initial challenges were complacency. I used to feel some sort of, I guess, when you try to escape a negative feeling of starting something new that you don't know about, it feels discouraging to try. But you have to realize that every new thing, every expert was once a beginner. You have to remember that. So don't get intimidated. Oh, I have to start. It looks like some big challenging thing. I cannot commit. You need the strong will, because I was still the same person that third time I tried again. The first two times, the only difference being that the first two times I did not have that strong enough will. The third time I was still the same person. I just needed a strong enough will. This time I showed up on time for every workshop. I paid attention properly from beginning to end every workshop. I listened to the questions others were asking during workshops because you know what someone else might be able to see, you might not, and everyone can ask meaningful questions. You learn from group practices, you start doing your hands-on work. I would do every single workshop hands-on end to beginning. If I had trouble in between, I would learn from them and I would document every little thing. People would read my documents and it was pages and pages, but I would document every little thing because you keep it with yourself. I would ask for help if I needed. I would set up the meetings. And just like that, although the process felt like a long time, one day I reached the last workshop and it turned out that this time I was committed and consistent and I finally made it to the target point. What I learned from this, from the beginning to the end, is that you have to maintain that strong will and desire. Yes, it was not easy. Some days I remember I would spend 8 hours straight just trying to figure out a simple CI/CD workshop or just doing the hands-on, but it is all worth it in the end. So of course, this journey was not smooth sailing. I did not get it right away. I struggled, but I did turn back around. It takes strong will. It takes making the time to put in the effort. It takes consistency. It takes communication and teamwork. And you just keep at it, and one day you make it to the end. That is the start of my story. And now I'm here today. And I just wanted to give you a background that, you know, no one has to be an expert right away. It takes being a beginner first, but be that beginner confidently and remember your goals. That is how I started, and I would love to now get to the later parts of my journey and and answer any of the questions that you might have that are specifically tailored to my journey or that I believe others will benefit from. Thank you. I just hope that introduction and background was good for you to give some context to what I will talk about, and hopefully that was relatable. But thank you.